Hey, you guys, what's up? Thank you for tuning in to the Famonomics podcast. I'm your host, Rashanda Castile, and I just want you to know that you are in the right place. Today, we have an amazing guest, Mr. Andre Spicer, the #1 Hub City Dre of the city of Compton, and I just wanted to bring him on, you guys, so he can really express to us his new journey. He's running for mayor of the city of Compton, so I just want you guys to just take a minute to listen to him, and he's going to share with us some things that he's planning on doing for the city, some changes that he's going to be able to bring. And he has a tremendous benefit. Why? Because not only being born and raised in the city, actually working in the city and with the city as 2nd District Council, he's definitely been able to hear some conversations and see some things. So I definitely feel like he's going to help us kind of bring change throughout the community. So I'm looking forward to it. So how you doing?
Thank you, Rashonda. I appreciate you. Appreciate the introduction. I appreciate you opening up your platform for me to even have a place to even talk more about the campaign and what we've accomplished so far and what we plan to do in the future.
Okay, so what we doing? So what's the plan? First of all, I want to say congratulations on the run for city council for the 2nd District. That's my district. Born and raised since I was 14 on Willow and Palmer. Okay. So I know the area, and then I had the pleasure of knowing you for several years, even before you got into this space. So that's a great thing because you get a chance to really identify and know who people are.
Well, I mean, you met me on us doing community work together. Like we were already doing stuff in the community, and you were doing your thing, I was doing my thing, and it just so happened. I mean, when good people do good things, you tend to find yourself in the same good places.
That's true.
And
that's true.
I've had the opportunity to meet and work with you over the last few years, and it's just been an honor. Just again, working with people from your community, you tend to get to know them and know their heart. And then once you see them ascend to different positions and they maintain that same personality, that same energy, that same drive to continue to build for their community, I think that's just, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. So thank you for doing the same thing.
Thank you for doing the same thing.
So I want you to talk to the audience about your run for mayor. So what really inspires you, not that you're the city council already, but what inspired you to take this big jump and say, hey, I want to be a part of the whole, because you're going to, being a mayor is basically like branding the city. It's like that's a part of branding the city. So your run and your journey to become mayor, I just want you to share with us, what are some things that you plan to implement, that you want to change, or some things that may be going good and you say, I want to keep it the same?
Well, I'll start off by saying I had no intentions on ever being in politics or being an elected official or public safety in this sector, in this type of environment. And I just wanted to be a community activist. I wanted to just do things to better my community, do what I could do on because I feel like everybody plays a role in changing their community. You don't have to be an elected official to do that. And so, like yourself, we started, out in the community, doing the community work. And I just felt like God called me to get into this role. Again, I never wanted to do this. I never had intentions on doing this. I got encouraged by residents that saw me with my podcast and some of the community efforts that we had been doing. They pushed me to run for office. So we did. And I have a vision for Compton. I have, things that I want to see done in Compton. I talked about that when I ran for office the first time, when I ran for the 2nd District. Once I got in there, you realize, man, it's not as simple as you would think. You realize there's other factors that, in this. And once you realize that, you say, okay, well, because my platform was economic development, housing, culture, and public safety. And I felt like I did my public safety thing. We helped get over 600 people expunged from their records. We helped 250 people get employed, another 125 get housed. We've addressed homelessness. We've addressed the human trafficking issue, street takeovers, illegal dispensaries, and all of that without sending not one soul to jail. For me, that was like the highest level of addressing public safety for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't about sending people to jail, it was about providing people with the opportunities
Right,
that they needed
right.
so they wouldn't have to commit.
Yeah, because the
same
jail isn't the
crimes.
solution.
It's not.
Like, it's
and
not
we know
the
it.
solution, right.
We've done this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yes.
We know that this doesn't work.
Not at all.
So we need to try different methods. And so these are some of the methods that I've wanted to implement. So that's on the public safety side. On the housing side, like I talked to you about getting, a little over 125 people housed. I didn't realize that if you have a felony on your record, you can't get an apartment. So
yes.
What does that person do when they need housing?
Right. You can't be homeless. So
you can't be homeless. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so when you can address your your homeless population by getting people housed because you got their record cleared up, or you address their particular issue. Now, when people say homelessness, they look at homelessness as a whole big picture.
Yeah.
When you have mental health homelessness, you
Yes.
have drug abuse homelessness,
Yes.
you have a reentry population, you have foster youth that turn
Yes.
out of foster care that
Yes.
now they're 18 years old and they have nowhere to go. These are all different types of homelessness.
Yes.
And if you're not addressing their concern,
Yes.
their actual issue, then you're not addressing the problem.
Right.
And so we've taken steps to address the actual issue of our residents, be it any of those issues,
Yes.
and then trying to figure out how to hone in on that. Cultural wise, which was another one of our platforms, it's been about bridging the gap between black and brown, between the young and our aged population, between the red and the blue. Like these are all cultural things that we want to address.
Yes.
And we've been able to address those with special events, concerts in the parks, just revitalizing our parks, just to start there.
Yes.
Now that we've revitalized Luthers Park, Wilson Park, Cesar Chavez Park, families going back up there to do birthday parties or family gatherings, family reunions, things that we haven't done in our parks, in years, right?
In years.
And so these things address the cultural aspect. One thing that I wasn't as proud of or as accomplished was in my economic development. And yes, we got a little over 250 people employed. However, I realized that as I'm trying to bring in new businesses, developments to the city, I realize the city has issues that needs to be addressed. So before I bring a Dr. Dre or a Kendrick or Anthony Anderson or anybody come in and say, hey, bring your business here, I need to make sure my house is clean.
Yes, for sure.
I need to make sure that we can do what we say we can do so that we don't burn that bridge. And I'm realizing that we have issues internally that we have to fix. So I hadn't been as successful as I wanted to be in the economic development aspect.
Okay.
So, and I just be, I'm candid about these things.
Okay.
Like I'd be like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. Because you got to talk about it. You got to figure out where's that stench coming from, right?
Yeah.
If you walk into your house and you smell something, first you want to know where's it coming from.
Yeah.
You want to be able to identify it so we can address that issue. So that's definitely something that that I'm proud that you were able to say, like, hey, we need to do some stuff before we invite all these people into the house and the house stinks.
And then a lot of people know, one of my goals is to make Compton a tourist location. I want us to be a destination space.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like with all these successful stories that come from Compton, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to capitalize off that.
Right.
The whole world knows Compton. I've been to Egypt, Dubai, Jamaica, Asia, all these different places, and every last one of them knows Compton.
They know Compton.
They might not know, and respectfully, it might not be the surrounding cities. I won't even say what they are, but they might not know those other cities or the Beverly Hills or but they know Compton.
They know Compton.
And so it's a worldwide brand.
Yeah.
And it's a brand that we should be able to capitalize on. We've have so many successful stories from Compton. And I would love to have like a Compton Walk of Fame in between, on Compton Boulevard. We should have stars that tells the stories of people like Kevin Costner, Ava DuVernay.
But there's a lot of historic facts in Compton, though. A lot of people don't even know how many even historic people are even buried in the cemeteries and stuff in Compton. So
absolutely.
Even when I go to Louisiana, everybody's like, Compton. I said, no. It's like, is it dangerous? No, Compton is not dangerous. Compton is one of the most beautiful cities you want to live in. Mm-hmm. I can attest to that. It's with the people that come to Compton and the people that are doing the things. But Compton is a great city.
Compton is
a really great, rich city.
Very rich rich in history, very rich in culture, rich across the board. And again, people don't know how rich the history of Compton is. Before we was even known for entertainment, we were known for agriculture. And that even is deeply rooted in our gangs. And I'll give you an example. Like when GD Compton came to Compton, originally, I forgot the name of the space. I was like Dominguez, I think it's something like that.
Okay, I'm not sure.
When he got here, it was a swamp. You know, it was a forest for the most part. It's because the LA River overflowed, and that overflow was in Compton, and it made the soil rich. They were agriculturalists, so they saw this to be a golden opportunity.
They knew all the mineral rights and everything that was.
They knew it all here. It was already here, and so they started growing all these crops and fruits and produce, and they started naming streets after the trees that they was growing it on. So you'll see a cherry, peach, plum, and you see these different streets. And at that time, they called that area Fruit Town. Today, we call that area Fruit Town, right?
And not even understanding the meaning of
the significance of it, where it came from, and across the way, it was like all the tallest trees in the city. The trees that overlook the whole city, that you can see from anywhere in the city. They call that area Treetop. Again, we identify with these things on a cultural level as well. So that history is like embedded in who we are, all the way around. And we're not even talking about those things either. So it's like a lot of history here.
A lot of history. That's great. That's great. So let me ask you this question. Say, for instance, so we're just hypothetically, you are elected as mayor of the city of Compton. What are the first top 3 things that you desire to do to bring change for the city of Compton? And how do you feel about the ICE situation in Compton?
Ooh, okay. So you just threw 2 heavy ones at me. So maybe she's slinging haymakers this morning. Okay, so some of the first things I want to do, again, I want to start focusing on that destination location. So and that is building up our economic development and fixing our building and safety department and making Compton more welcoming for businesses. Not just the big businesses, but the small mom and pop businesses as well. So that's one of the first things. We have to make Compton a little more business friendly. The other thing is cleaning up the city as a whole, not just certain areas during Christmas time, or certain areas of the city. No, we have to change how we view ourselves in our community, and that's holding each other responsible too.
For sure.
If that also means, if somebody's moving out on your block and they no longer want their stuff in their apartment, but they don't want to call trash to pick it up, they want to put it in the alley. That's also you saying, look, sis, bro, look, we can't keep doing this. You know what I'm saying? Or if your kids are the ones tagging on all the play apparatuses. We go to the slides and you gotta kiss my ass, or F your mama, or what. We know these are children.
Or it's broke. And we just put it there. It's like, why is it broke?
And we realize that this is our community that's doing this. We can't blame everybody else. We have to start holding ourselves accountable. And it can't be me coming out there to paint over the graffiti every day. Like, you gotta stop putting it up. It can't be me coming to paint this over every day. So it's having those conversations with our community to change the mindset. It's changing the mindset of Compton. Compton, by definition, is a suburb. We literally have everything that we need. Water wells, agriculture, colleges, school districts, police stations, fire stations, industrial area. Like, it's nothing that we don't have. It's just the mentality that could be upgraded.
For sure. And that goes back to giving the richness and the culture and all the inheritance and everything that these kids in our community need to know these things. So that might be something that we can even implement in the educational system in Compton, so they can get a better understanding of where they come from. This is who we are. This is where we're doing, and this is where we're going. So I think when you educate the kids a little bit better too in school systems about the city of Compton, that can give them a little sense of pride. Like, hold up, this right here is just not the gangs or the neighborhood or the negativity of Compton, but this is who we are. We're rich in culture and history in the city of Compton. So that needs to be, a lot of that, the history of Compton needs to be implemented in Compton school district so the kids can know it, because we didn't know that.
Yeah,
I know I didn't know those things about the city of Compton.
When you know your history, you tend to have a little more pride.
You do.
In where you come from.
Yes.
And let's just look at it like this. Compton is known for its gang activity,
right,
being in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
Like that's what we're mostly known for. So when kids learn, when they start to rap and they get into the whole rap culture, they feel that they have to identify with a neighborhood.
Yes.
Automatically. And that's just because that's what's ingrained in us.
Yes, it is.
And we feel like that is our culture and history. But when you find out that Compton hosted the first ever aeronautical show ever in the world. So the Wright brothers built the plane in 1905.
Yes.
By 1910, we're doing an aeronautical show in Compton.
In Compton.
You know what I mean? Like, that's history. If you knew that our whole history was based in agriculture, and we were the best in growing all these crops. We got the freshest soil, freshest everything, best everything here in Compton. If we knew that,
right,
we would probably cater towards that a little bit more. Our kids might want to grow up to want to be farmers or agriculturalists or botanists, if you will.
Exactly.
You know,
we got to make that cool, other than the rap. And all that.
I mean,
that's cool too, but
you need a balance. That's all.
You need a balance, yeah. So I definitely think that right there is something that really needs to be implemented in the school systems, because they like kindergarten on up. So they're learning that, and they're taking on that responsibility. Like, this is my home, this is my community, and they want to add value to this space too.
But let's take it a step further, because I mean, we know that America isn't necessarily the biggest supporter of education in that regard, and that's learning.
Yeah.
So we, the people, have to teach our own children.
Yes, very true.
The things that we value and things that we think that is important. Because we can't expect the system to do it for us. And I think that's the problem with us. We expect everybody to do it for us.
Yeah, and
we don't want to be held accountable for nothing. And yeah, we have to teach our kids how important it is to know our own history.
That's true.
You know, what are we doing for Black History Month? Like we say it on February 1st, we might say it on the 2nd. But what are we actually doing? What are we learning?
What are we learning? Right.
You know, what's the trade-off here?
That's true.
And I ask that every month, every Black History Month, like, yo, what we doing?
What we doing?
How we celebrating?
Right. What's the why behind it?
Like, we should know what we want to do to continue to further the.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. So, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I'm listening to you.
I'll go way down a whole nother rabbit hole.
It's fine, me too. It's fine, but yeah. So your top 3 things of changing, or trying to bring change in the office that you see as a city council member, what are some top 3 things that you see that needs to be changed immediately?
Gang culture.
Okay.
Man, and this isn't going to be popular, because I know this isn't like what people want to hear, but I have a goal.
Okay.
To provide our neighborhoods with the resources that they need, so that they don't feel the need to have to join gangs or be a part of that particular culture. And I know cats really want education.
Yes, they
cats really do want to go to work. People really want opportunities.
Yes, they do.
They don't know how to get them.
Right.
So if we could build a bridge or a pathway to show them how to be successful from where they're at.
Right.
And then we can make an agreement that, all right, who's the youngest cat over here? Who's the youngest cat from your community? The 16-year-old from whatever.
Yes.
All right, that's the last person that y'all put on from this neighborhood. If we provide all this, the hood dies off with this person.
Yes, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And not to say in a negative way, but to say, hey, we don't need this negative culture anymore. And most people that's been through it already know, like, after you done did gangbanging for 15, 20 years, you start looking at things different.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense, because it really needs to be one of those what you call prerequisites, right? You know, because when I view gangs, I don't see them really being any different than anything else, whether it's police, the firefighters. It's just organized. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is, I don't have a problem per se with gangs. My whole thing, there need to be some prerequisites, because we got a whole lot of people who lead and who are not leaders. first. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be a part of this, and this is what you want to do, these are some requirements. And I think about that often. I said, I don't really see anything wrong with the culture of it other than the negative aspect, the killing and the drugs and all those kind of things. But it needs to make sense. If you want to be a part of this gang, what you need to do, you need to have some life insurance. Why? Because there's a strong possibility that you might die. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a part of this gang, you got to have education. You need to be in the apprenticeship program. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is like, if you're going to do it right. Because I want the young kids, they're not really getting educated, and the leaders of these gangs are not really saying, hey, if you want to hang with us, you got to go to school. They're not pushing the education part of it. So it's like, you want to really educate these kids about, okay, you can do all these things, but look at it in a different mindset. Look at it, whatever you're doing, if you can build and you can get a residual income from it, and there's a 401k and there's a retirement plan, make it make sense. So when you can give it to the kids like this, like, hey, go ask your big homie, can he retire from the hood? If something happens to him, does he have life insurance? Is his family gonna get paid?
And also, I think that, just to add to that, gangbanging is a mental health issue.
Yes.
And so is a lot of stuff that we do.
A lot of it.
Not just that.
Yeah,
it's just,
yes.
A lot of things that we do is a mental health issue that we ignore.
Yeah.
And we go through these things because we have compound trauma.
Yes, indeed. That's where it comes from.
My daddy done dealt with some things, and he never really addressed it properly, and it got passed on to me, and I'm gonna deal with it, and I ain't gonna address it properly.
Now you gotta take the
torch. Then I pass it on to my son, and then we continue to do that and continue to do that. And it's no different in the gang culture. It's no different in politics. It's no different in anything. If there's a disconnect, you're not going to be able to pass down the benefits that you should.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that mental health resources has to be valued in our community, has to be talked about, has to be accepted. Just because you're the big homie don't mean that that you're mentally stable.
Not at all.
Just because,
not at all.
Just because you're 80 years old doesn't mean you're wise.
Not at all.
Like, there are some old fools here because they were once young fools.
Exactly.
So, but we're not addressing that. We're just expecting things to just naturally progress like they should. Like, well, this is what should be happening.
And that's all we need to let them know. Identify that the big homie he may be older in age, but he's not wiser when it comes to making choices and decisions. And this is why you should.
Not if he's on the path of destruction.
Not at all.
At 40, 50 years old, bro, that brother's lost. But that's, unfortunately, that's the average for us.
That's it.
Now we just got to say, okay, this is what we're dealing with. Look, I'm sending Pops. Me and Pops are going to sit down together at this therapist. We're going to go through this thing together and deal with this. I have to address these issues head on. Same thing with moms and daughter. Right. We have to start doing these things with our community because, bro, we acting like we're okay, and we're
not okay.
We're not okay.
We're not.
And respect to all the people that go to church, but Jesus is not going to you can't just Jesus gives us the resources.
Right.
We're just not taking them. He's giving us the resources.
As my
we're not taking
it. Say.
And people are just expecting Jesus to come from the heavens and be like, yo, saved.
Yes.
And it's just the world just doesn't happen that way.
Don't happen that way.
Yeah.
But once we have good leadership in our cities and our communities, and understand that we are in a crisis when it comes to mental health in our cities. And I think that's kind of like the foundation of it, is the mindset.
Yeah.
Helping the city change the trajectory of the understanding of what mental health is, right? Mental health isn't a bad thing. It's something that you need to be aware. And we were talking earlier about passed down trauma. And a lot of it comes from the traumatic spaces, and it goes to generation. So we look forward to.
I'm going to tell you another way that you just realize that you do have traumatic experiences. I was with my mom. We went out of town, and we were just sitting out chilling, and she hears the wind blow, and she's like, you hear that? And it's she just hears it, and you hear a little chirping here and there, and she's like, it's too quiet for her. And she says, like, it's way too quiet. And the problem with that is because we're so conditioned to the ghetto soundtrack of broken glass, screeching tires, yelling out in the front yard, somebody getting cursed
Battery
out.
in a smoke detector.
The helicopter circling over the house. The loud music is blasting through somebody's speaker system. Like, we hear this all day long, and there's so much noise, and it's traumatic. Because we're constantly going through this, that when we hear quiet and peace, we're like,
something
what
wrong.
the hell is going on around? Like, you feel like something's about to happen. That's trauma.
That's trauma.
That's a form of trauma that we don't realize that we're dealing with. I'm used to the ghetto soundtrack. You know, it kind of makes me feel peace.
I'm safe. There goes the helicopter. I'm safe.
You don't even hear it no more. You don't even know that the helicopter is floating around over your head. You're like, oh, that's a helicopter out there. Somebody on the phone you talking to, like, what is that over there? What's going on over there?
That's just an ambulance.
You don't even realize it. It's just everyday stuff.
The sirens.
But that's what we deal with in our communities. And I say that to say we don't even realize it. It's just our everyday routine. And we live through this, and we go to sleep, we wake up, and we do it again. And we continue to go through this over and over again. It does have an effect on our mental health.
It does. It does.
And there's no way that you can continue to see death on the levels that we do.
And it's just the norm.
And
the conversations are like, even when I talk to my teenagers and I talk to people, and it's just like, oh yeah, that person died. It's like, it's nothing. It's like we're just so numb to it. It's like people are not really dying of old age and stuff. It's just the fluke stuff. It's like, this is what's happening.
Man, I remember a story where friends of mine had opened up a business and had the grand opening. The following week, it was a shooting in their parking lot. Several people got shot. One person got shot right in front of the business, and he was killed, shot right through the eye, right?
Wow.
They had to step over the body to get into the business. And these guys are so conditioned to this environment that the question was asked, do you think we're gonna have to close today? And to me, I was like, yo, that's insane that you can sit here and step over a body.
Right.
And it's traumatic. The man got shot through the eye, and you have to step over that, and then your thoughts to ask, like, oh, you think we're gonna have to close today? That lets you know how conditioned we are to seeing trauma. Like, he had to unpack. He had to unpack that, pack it up, all in 2 minutes.
Wow.
And it's just like this isn't normal. This isn't how we should be living.
We should be living right. And we just been subject to it for so long. It's just the norm. It's just like another day.
Another day. And
another day.
We'll put a rest in peace post up. It might make it through the week. Somebody's gonna put some candles out there, and you give it about a week or so, and all this is.
Then it's like where's the humanity? It's like it just happened. It's like, we see it all the time. I see it. I know about it for a fact. My son was killed, and his investigation is still open, and it's just like one of them things. It's like people's like the homies, and I'm like, I don't even know these kids. I don't even know these people, and it's like, you just don't know, and it's like the norm because. This is just a society that we live in. It's really scary. To not get off the conversation about you running for mayor, but even just watching our generations after us. I'm pretty sure you like in your early 40s or something like that. But
43.
It's a completely different world. 20 years ago from now, and it's like I'm feeling some type of way about the next 30, 40 years. What is that gonna look like for us? Because where's the leadership? What do you think? How do you feel about that?
The leadership is within your own homes. It's really within your own homes. And then from that point on, it's choosing the right leaders to lead your community. But that still comes from within your own household. If you're not talking about voting
Voting, right?
You know, then
or being responsible, or taking care of your responsibility and being consistent and doing those things.
If you're not having those conversations, you're always going to be reactive to what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been reactive for so long. It's like it's time for us to be proactive.
Proactive.
We need to start setting the standards and what we want to see and how we want to see it, and that is taking the time to learn about government. That is like, because it's not going nowhere.
It's not going nowhere, and it's rapidly changing.
People be like, hey, F the police. I'm like, well, they're not going nowhere, bro. So the best thing you can do is infiltrate the system to see if you can make some change on the local level. And that's the same thing I've done on this. It's like, I know what the reputation for politicians is. I know that. Yeah. You know, but if you want to change it, you have to be a part of the system. Unless you're gonna just get rid of the system, throw the whole system out, but you can't.
It's not gonna work.
It's not happening. It's not happening in your lifetime.
Not at all.
So we got to figure out how do we work within that.
Yes.
And this was my way of working within it. Like, all right, I got to be a part of it, so I can have a seat at the table and say, look, I'm going this way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, I'm willing to die on that.
Yeah.
And not to be so dramatic, but I'm not no politician. I'm not looking to. Like, I got into this to change my community. Yes. I got to walk around with these people every day. Every day. I got to go to the same markets that they go to the same liquor stores that they go to the same restaurants. I have to see my people on a regular basis. I can't put them in a position where they're losing, dying, getting killed, getting sick, and I had an opportunity to do something about it and didn't do it. Right. Like, to me, that's weak. Yeah. But that's just for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't like it, don't vote for me. Right. And I'm cool with that. Yes, like, I'm genuinely cool with that. I am not so hung up over nobody's vote that I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get that vote. I don't care. Yes. Like, this is me, and if you align with it, bet. Right. If you don't, that's cool too. That's cool. I'm all right with that. But it's still gonna keep spinning. The world's still gonna go keep rolling. You know what I'm saying? I tell people I'm not trying to win your vote. Right. I'm not. Right. I'm being me. Right. And if being me aligns with who you are, then we're gonna be good. Right. If it doesn't, you know, you're not voting for me anyway. Right. So, we ain't got nothing to talk about. We ain't got nothing to talk about. So it's all good. Yeah. So that's great. And that wins me some support. Sometimes it doesn't. And I'm okay with it either way. And I think that right there that just shows you right there the level of confidence that you have in your ability right there speaks volume, because it's really not one of those situations where it's based off of an opinion. If I'm trying to come into a space and bring some change, if you're not even open to the change, or you trying to grow and build with me as a community member, a leader, as a resident, it's like, let's really put it all on the table. We all have to live here together. Mm-hmm. So your goal and my mission is the well-being and the growth and the development of the city of Compton. One thing that came up big for me, because, you know, obviously I'm younger, younger people follow me and support me. I've become the poster child for shutting down illegal dispensaries. Okay. That doesn't work well with my demographic. No, they don't not at all. Like that. Like, no, like, bro, like, what are you doing? You know? But it gives me the opportunity to have a conversation. Like, bro, you know it was on the ballot twice? Did you vote for it? Right. I didn't even know it was. Right, exactly. I mean, you know, it's really much easier so you kind of shut it down yourself. A bubble, because it's easier to fill in a bubble, you know, of what you do want, than to come at me later, cussing me out, talking about something that you had the opportunity to vote on, but you didn't. Yes. And then I love having those conversations, because it opens up. First, it brings that demographic into the conversation. Yes. Like, now you want to talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Right. You mad at me? I get it. Let's talk about it though. Yes. What you mad at? Well, man, we was buying weed, and you know, they got it for the low over there, and you shutting it down, and blah blah blah. All right, cool. And that's really what you hear, right? Yeah, I'm like, all right, let's talk about it. They're not paying taxes to the city. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. All right. So every business should be able to pay taxes to the city. Yes. All right. They're not paying taxes to you. Right. In your community, right? Not at all. They're not paying taxes to you. What neighborhood you from? Y'all getting taxes? No. All right. So what was going on before and those dispensaries came to your neighborhood? Where were they getting it from? Okay. They was coming within the community, right? Yes. All right. That's legal now. Yes, it is. So now that it's legal, You want to let somebody else come up, set up shop on the corner, as opposed to, and I'm not advocating for it either way, but what I'm saying is,
I understand what you're saying.
Either
you have an opportunity.
It's an opportunity
to do it right.
And what we've done is we advocate for people to come in our community to make money because they've given us a job as a security guard.
Yeah.
Or they let you be a bud tender, and now you feel like you have some level of ownership, when in actuality you are at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yes, you are.
And they won't allow you to come in your own community and set up shop like this. So why do you let other people come in your community and set up shop like this?
Right.
So until we can have our seat at the table, I'm cool with pushing whoever that is out because they're not from our community.
They're not at all.
You know, and it ain't no shortage of marijuana.
It ain't no shortage
nobody,
of marijuana, right.
You're gonna find it.
You're gonna find it,
bro. You're gonna find it. Trust me, it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And once you start having those conversations, they're like, well, you know what? I never really looked at it that way. I mean, people get robbed, killed, all that stuff out at these dispensaries. You got blunt ashes and blunt guts all over somebody's lawn. You got the little white bag that's all over the place, blowing. This is the environment that you're in, and once you start having those conversations like that, it enlightens them. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I didn't think about it like that.
Because it's important to them, because they can relate to it, and that's affecting them. So now it's important to you.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you, we collected we've got awarded $188 million from shutting down illegal dispensaries. Now I'm asking you what you want to do with $188 million. Now let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's put that into perspective as opposed to, man, they had the eggs for $10. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I got $188 million that we just got, bro, from shutting down illegal dispensaries. You're talking about the $10 eighth. Yeah. You got to put things into perspective. So yeah, I'm sorry. Again, I be going down my paths.
It's all good though. But somebody they need to understand it, and they need to hear that, because some of these young guys might have the opportunity to see the podcast and really say, "Oh, I didn't even know it was like that." Yeah. Now you need to understand that you can get out here and you can vote, you can have a decision and a say in what's going on in your community. But at the same time, it's your community, and at the same time, you don't want other people coming here and take your money. So now you got to make a decision on how you're gonna put yourself in a position to make that your business, right? So the city of Compton is not just the mayor's or the city council, but it's everybody's business from each and every household. Everybody has a responsibility to uplift, to empower, and bring the full potential out in the city of Compton. So it's just not an Andre thing or the mayor's thing, or it's really an individual household thing. At the end of the day, it goes back to the households, right? So if you're teaching and you educating and you showing and you giving direction and understanding, and there's some leadership in that household, it should kind of like trickle into the community.
Yeah.
So our goal right now is to work to help Andre, educate the community about his run, educate the community about the changes that he plans on bringing, and just really trying to be a vessel that just help promote a safe environment for Compton, right? And I'm all for mental health, and I really would like to help you in these spaces, really promote more of wellness and mental health space for our black men, because I think our black men are struggling a little bit more than our women in a lot of different areas. But I do think by you being a young black man from the city of Compton, you are definitely a pillar to the community. You are definitely somebody they can inspire and they can follow, and they can say, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So I just want to commend you on just being in a space and being able to hear God speaking to you, not to be a religious person, but in the same space, being in a place where there's so much noise, so much chaoticness, everything is going on, like we talking about the helicopters, for you just to be in a space to just be able to hear and take direction and allow God to order your steps, to walk into this space, to be a part of the betterment of our community. So I just say thank you for that, because
thanks for the acknowledgement.
It's not easy. It's not easy because as a parent, it's sometimes it's easier for you to just to go back in your house and mind your own business and clean around your own front door before you try to sweep around somebody else's. But people don't understand that because you put yourself out there on the front line. You know, you expose yourself trying to help the community, and they really don't understand that, because I get a lot of people saying, well, don't you have your own kids or don't you do the other? But it's so much bigger than that. It's definitely a true labor of love when you decide to have that boldness to walk out into a space that is something that you've never done. You know, it's something that you've never done, but you see there's a need, right? And they say when you see the need, you feel it. So you have done that. So
and I think the first time I ever actually felt that need and felt a need to want to change my community, I think is so I grew up in the same neighborhood my whole life, you know, off Long Beach Boulevard and Rosecrans. So Long Beach Boulevard is the Blade. It always has been the Blade. I've always known it to be that, and I've seen it my entire life. It wasn't until as an adult, as a father, when you're driving your kid to school every morning, and at 6, 7 in the morning, you got 5, 7, 10 women that are half clothed or on the street selling themselves, and you're sitting with your daughter right there in the passenger seat, and you think to yourself, how is this affecting my kid?
Yes.
And how does this affect every other little girl that sees what I'm looking at right now?
Yes.
And then you take it even further. I only say that because that's my kid.
Right.
Right. That's my daughter, and I didn't say that about my son.
Right.
I didn't say that about myself.
Right.
You know, but the reality is, it's where it starts. Like, all right, I saw what happened with my daughter. Okay, dang.
Then you see something in curiosity and you don't even know, because there's a level of understanding that we don't really explain. And then we're
scared to explain it.
Yeah, we're scared to explain it because you really don't want to expand their mindset, but it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yes.
Because you will get a young girl to say, hey, I want to be like that. Now I want to be pretty. I want to do that. So we have to go back and go back home and have the talk and share the information with our family and our children, so we can go back in the community and have more awareness on the stuff that needs to change in the city of Compton.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Spicer, for coming and taking the time to be on the Famonomics podcast.
Mr. Steele, thank you for having me on the Famonomics podcast. I'm going to have to say that 3 times fast.
Right. Famonomics. Think about family, economic development, and empowerment. That's what we are. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for our listeners for joining the Famonomics podcast. And remember, at the end of the day, if nobody claps for you, you clap for your damn self. Bye-bye.